What's going on YouTube? It's your boy J Rose. Welcome back to the page Ghostflykickz. Man, we got some heat on you. We going old school. We going back to the 80s, baby, because if it ain't OG, I don't want it. Alright everyone, welcome back to the page Ghostflykickz. I'm your host J Rose. Before we get into the video today, I want to talk about my brand new sneaker bag from Sole Premise. This is not a paid advertisement. I'm not doing the unbreakable kicks over here. I just wanted to let you guys know that I have a video coming out talking about the perfect travel bag for a sneakerhead, and I went over a couple bags that I had, and I just got this one in hand, and I'm really excited to use the Sole Premise bag. This is the extra large Sole Premise nylon bag. I believe it's nylon, but it's like a really nice thick, nylon like mesh. This is very similar to more expensive bags I had. I was able to get this on sale for a really good price. This is the XL, so it holds up to 5 pair of shoes up to a size 15. I don't know how true that is and accurate that is, but I do know from just playing around with it, I was able to fit at least 3 pairs of size 13 shoes in it, along with other accessories. So stay tuned for that video coming soon. So without any further ado, let's get into the review. Today we're going over the Air Jordan 1 High 85 Neutral Gray. These shoes dropped February 10th for a retail price of $200, which is higher than their Air Jordan 1 High OG price of $170. But this is the Air Jordan 1 Neutral Gray High 85. Now, for those of you who may not know, this shoe is based very heavily off of the OG from 1985, the Air Jordan 1 Natural Gray. Now, you're probably wondering, why the hell did they name it different between Neutral Gray and Natural Gray? Well, honestly, I think it's for a couple of reasons. One, they probably couldn't replicate that color exactly. Because remember, everyone who has a pair of these around today, we're talking about a 36-year-old shoe. So it's going to have some age, and they probably couldn't exactly match that same color. So what they did was they gave us a spin on it, similar enough, but not quite the same. So is it a deal breaker? Absolutely not, because this is the first time this colorway has even retro or semi-retro in 36 years. So people, if you got this, if you have the opportunity to get this shoe, I highly recommend it, especially if you're an OG Jordan head, if you're an OG collector. This is a shoe you don't want to pass up on. Now, let's get into why this shoe is important. You may look at this shoe and say, okay, that's cool, J Rose, but to be honest, it looks plain as hell. Looks like one of those old Air Force Ones, Ever Evolution type shoes, right? It's pretty much just white and gray. And you're absolutely right. It is a very simple, plain, yet iconic shoe. Now, let's go over the High 85 cut. Here we have a pair of the Air Jordan 1 High OG Lasers. This is actually one of my most underrated shoes slept on. I've been working on the bottom, trying to get it crispy for you guys. So another video coming soon about that as well. But this is pretty much a typical Air Jordan 1 High OG from today, even though it's a couple years old. So what I want you guys to do is to pay attention to the back of the shoe. Notice how straight the High 85 is. I'm gonna go straight up while the High OG kind of slants forward a little bit more. This is one of the big differences between the High OGs from today mode versus the High 85. It closer mimics the original shoe, which was almost like straight up from the back. Another difference you may be able to tell too is that the midsole is different. The midsole on the High OG is pretty much straight, and it's actually thicker in some areas, while the High 85 midsole that I'm indicating here actually curves and molds to your feet much more aggressively. So this is a much narrow fitting shoe than the High 85s have become. Now, does that mean that this shoe is going to be better as far as comfort wise? Not necessarily. It's probably going to be actually a little bit worse as far as comfort, because it's going to be snugger on your foot. However, it does mimic the OG much more than the current shoes we wear today. Also, you can look at the textures of the midsoles as well. While this texture on the High OG is a texture that we see on all Jordan retros, this mold on the High 85 had to be reproduced by hand to closely mimic the OG, because that mold is no longer around. So these are computer generated symmetrical sequences, while this was done by hand for the mold. Among the many differences of the High 85 is that it doesn't come with a shoe tree. It actually just comes with this paper. Looking at the insole, you can see there's a tag inside, Jordan brand rubber company. And what it does is it has the production tag from sample model or promotional model that was very common back in those days. Underneath there, you can see that there's a neutral gray Nike Air stamp on the insole. Removing the insole, and you can see it says 13 underneath it, which is kind of cool. You can see this insole is a little bit thicker piece of memory foam, because like I said, this shoe is a very low to the ground feel that was designed for Michael Jordan back in 1985. But now looking at the insole even further, you can see that's called board lasting, everyone. This was a technique used for those original shoes in the 80s. Board lasting, what it does is, instead of having like the foam that we use today, this is actually a piece of like cardboard, which actually helped the stability of the shoe. Within this rubber outsole capsule, there is the air sole unit, which was previously called the air wedge. So you think about the impact to decrease the impact on the foot. So they use this board lasting technique to kind of give it some more stability while it was undergoing performance use. So you see it's Jordan brand rubber, and it has all the specs and details of it. So like I said, this was very common on promotional / sample pairs of Jordans during the 80s or their original run. Another homage to the OG 85 style is that the sizing label is listed on the inside of the shoe. So you can see it says size 13, followed by the year and the months, and then also the production factory. That's what that XC means. So that means the production factory of where these shoes came from. Once again, very common, and this was the standard on Air Jordans. So another homage to the original factory specifications of the Air Jordan 185. Back in the day, we complain about Nike and their quality control and how some shoes and shapes and stuff and leather cuts are completely different. That's been actually the story of Nike. You have to remember, at the time they were a running shoe company. They got into basketball in the early to mid 80s, and then when Michael Jordan and the Air Jordan came out, it was really one of the first signature shoe at the time, and they didn't have a whole lot of standard procedures in place. That's why you can have an OG from 85 and it may look different from someone else who has an OG 85, just because one was made in Taiwan and it was made in China. They weren't able to standardize the production of all these shoes, so there's going to be some slight variances between shoes, even though they were part of the original run. And that kind of lasted up until the Air Jordan 10 almost, or maybe even longer. So going over the shoe, it is a predominantly white upper leather shoe on top of a white midsole with the neutral gray outsole, and then we have hits of suede along the collar and the Nike swoosh done in suede neutral gray. We have an all white tongue with a white and neutral gray Nike Air tab. It does come pre-laced with white laces. However, we do have a pair of spare neutral gray laces, which matches perfectly with the suede. I love that. Sometimes those laces don't always match. These match perfectly. And a real treat for OG collectors is that it comes with a recreation of the OG 1985 hang tag for the Air Jordan 1. You flip this open, this slight booklet, and it gives you the specifications of the shoe, as far as like the technology regarding the air sole, the ankle lockdown, the straps, pretty much all of the design cues for this shoe to make it a performance basketball shoe. So let's talk about the box. The box for the High 85, and here's the sizing tag right there for you guys so you can see it for yourselves. But the box for the High 85 comes in this inverted reverse, predominantly red box with black lettering, as opposed to the traditional black box with red lettering. So it's been done before. We've seen it on the Fearless models, we've seen it on women models. So I would have preferred that this was the same colorway as the OGs, but it is kind of nice to designate it is a little bit different. Taking off the lid, it comes with different paper as well. It comes with this translucent tissue paper with Jumpman and the Air Jordan flight symbol along with the number 23 printed on it. I'm not sure you can see that, guys. I'm sorry, I apologize, but I have some good B-roll. It then comes in some pretty thick white tissue paper as well. One thing that is different from the reverse bread is that it didn't come with the dust bags. You know, it didn't come with the dust bags of the reverse breads. These dust bags are really nice. They're made out of suede. And one thing that was kind of controversial was that they labeled the shoe number on the dust bag. Like, why didn't you put it in the shoe? But as you can see, my pair was number 21,283 out of 23,000. So it just kind of reinforced the limited nature of that shoe. So it did come in that dust bag, and it also came heavily wrapped up in its own tissue paper on top of that. Now, I know I've been talking about my reverse bread, but I actually did a custom. I converted my reverse bread High 85 into a pair of 1985 OG breads. I wanted that OG cut and shape, and Michael Jordan did not even play or wear that reverse bread colorway. So while it was dope, it didn't hold very much value to me as a sneaker because it was like a new colorway. And I was like, why would they release a new colorway on an older cut? But neither here nor there. I converted mine. I'm really happy with it. And to further explain the difference, I have a pair of the 2016 breads, one of my favorite pairs as well. And just holding these side by side, you can see the difference once again. You can see that the leather and the height and the cut, once again, look at the back, people. The back of the 85 is almost straight, as opposed to the 2016 has more of that sloped feel to it. Another difference is the leather quality. The black on the 2016 is pretty much that standard black leather that we've seen on a lot of shoes. So this is nothing to complain, nothing to boast about. But this was one of the first shoes that had that tumbled leather kind of movement outside of the shattered backboards. Before it, we got this one. Then we got the Royals in 2017. So this kind of tumbled leather on the panels was something that a lot of people clamored for. We were really excited about that. Like, oh, it's such a nice leather. Da, da, da. We really liked the OG style. Once again, they did a great job of recreating that size tag and the factory indicate, the factory listing on the inside of the shoe, similar to the OG. But it's not OG. It's just like, it's great. Don't get me wrong. This is one of my favorite shoes, and you run up and get done. I'm trying to mess with these, but going back and being able to recreate the 85 cut is just something that you can't compare. For one, the color of this one is darker. The originals were not this dark of color, although I don't mind the color. So I was able to, I think for the most part, match the colors and tones of the varsity red, and pretty much give it a near factory finish and style. So, but this was a shoe I really, wanted to have and recreate in my collection. And I'm going to show you guys some differences outside of the color. You can see that it's wider. The 2016 is wider, especially on the heel and the mid portion than the reverse bread. There's also some differences of texture and the Nike branding, the stars, everything. So it's, like I said, the 2016s and the recent retros do a great job of recreating the ethos of honoring the OGs. But there's nothing like this High 85 cut. I'm going to show you guys how thick this leather is. While, like I said, this leather is stiff, it's not going to blow you away either. But this is real, genuine leather. This is not that synthetic leather that is like, pre-treated to feel soft and be more comfortable off the box. This is a shoe you got to beat up. This is a shoe you got to break down and wear in. And there is what lies the beauty of the 85. This is a shoe that is meant to be worn. And as you wear it, it looks better. It's going to feel better and it's going to look better. I'm not, trust me, I love keeping my Jordans pristine. My friends will call me out about it like, man, you got all these shoes, you don't even wear them, and what's the point, da 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 da. This is a shoe I intend on wearing because it is made to be worn and it's gonna look great. I even thought about aging the midsole, but I'm just gonna do it naturally. This is a shoe I'm gonna wear, so if you see me out in the streets with these, say what's up, you know what it is. But going back to the neutral gray, not the natural, the neutral gray 85s, along with my custom bread 85s. Just extremely happy. I wish Jordan Brand would release more of these. We need a Chicago one. Stop playing. You can drop these for Christmas or whatever, his birthday next year, and they're gonna sell. $200, who cares? They're gonna sell. Jordan Brand, stop playing. Give us more high 85s. I love the high OGs too, but give us more high 85s, Jordan Brand. Also, another difference between the high OGs and 85 is the Wings logo. So looking at this high OG that we use from today, you can see that the Wings logo is debossed into the leather and has a shiny sheen to it. We know and love this Air Jordan 1 logo. It looks great and it's become the standard. However, the high 85 has actually been embossed into the leather and it's more of a matte finish. You can see that it is not as sharp as far as the details as the high 85, but this is actually closer to what it was in the original production of the shoes. So, you know, we've gotten spoiled with new technology, and Jordan Brand and Nike, they've done a better job of like improving upon the technologies. One difference as well is the fact that the original Air 85 bread, this was all foam. It was painted foam. It wasn't this leather coating that we have and we've gotten accustomed to. It was purely foam that was painted on. That's why you have cracking on pairs that are still around today. But even now, Nike and Jordan Brand, they're like, okay, we're gonna give you some of the aspects of the 85, but we're not gonna go all the way back. So this is actually leather. Once again, people, this is leather. They're not going back to the painted foam. So you know, things change over time, and they make sense when you understand the history of it. So I appreciate the fact that they did cover this in leather to kind of preserve the shoe and help, you know, slow down the breakdown. But I do like that distressed crack look from those older pairs, so there might be something I do as well at some point in the future. And that concludes our video today for the Air Jordan 1 High 85 Neutral Gray. I thank you so much for watching this video. I know it's a little bit longer, but I also want to give you guys more history, more comparison, and I do appreciate your time. Once again, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe to this channel to be notified when I upload new content. I got more videos on the way. I got videos in the stash. So just stay tuned, everybody, and I appreciate your support. All right, this is your boy J Roach, signing out for Ghostflykickz. You be safe, you be smooth, take care, and I'll see you later.